I currently work in Queens now, so I get a Queens vibe daily.
To me, the Bronx is probably the best borough ever because of hip hop and because it raised me.
They have a mixed crowd, I would say.
The Bronx, I don't want to offend anyone, the Bronx is kind of crazy.
We used to walk across Macomb's Dam Bridge, you know, all the time.
The Bronx feels like it's in a rebuilding stage.
The Bronx is up and coming right now in terms of real estate.
That could go either way.
When I was little, I didn't have a desire to go to the Bronx, like I said, but besides the Bronx Zoo and Yankee Stadium, but like in the 80s, early 90s, if you weren't from the Bronx or you didn't have like close ties to the Bronx, you didn't go to the Bronx.
The Bronx was gritty. The Bronx had its own aura about it, but the Bronx was like, you know, Uptown's, you know, brother. So it was just almost like I was second borough.
Boston Road is crazy.
It's literally coming back from what it used to be in the tales that you might see in old 80s and 90s movies about New York.
Bronx still have some sort of ethnic reservation to them still.
They heavy on the Spanish.
You know, the Grand Concourse is crazy.
I see a raccoon right now, it's crazy. But the record, good? You can't make this up.
Bronx moment ever, son.
We at the center of a raccoon and some super Latino music.
Honduran, Dominican, Puerto Rican, it just depends.
In the Bronx, there's only 3 kinds of music, Latino, hip hop, or African.
It's where a lot of my Wakanda African brothers live.
Because there's a lot of Africans in the Bronx.
A lot of Africans.
A lot of Africans. Staten Island too, a lot of Africans.
Staten Island.
Staten Island.
Whether it's condensed, Africans, they thrive.
In Staten Island, unfortunately, they call it the forgotten borough.
And Staten Island was supposed to be seen as like the forgotten borough.
I got most of my knowledge of Staten Island from Wu-Tang, of course.
I'm gonna be honest, I only been to Staten Island maybe twice.
I didn't know anyone from Staten Island, never went into Staten Island, never stepped foot in Staten Island. Until I was about, I would say 20, 21 years old. I was going to a party, actually.
I didn't know that Staten Island was a borough until I realized that Harlem wasn't its own. I was like, so where's the other fifth?
And now I actually get to teach them about how to live, how to take advantage of Staten Island Ferry, how to take advantage of Staten Island Mall, the park, how to have fun instead of survival.
However, there's so much beautiful homes there that can almost compare to the houses in Long Island, the mansions in Long Island.
Now that I've lived here about 12 years, I actually love it. It's nice and quiet. It's a great place for my kids to grow up. It's family oriented, totally opposite of the Bronx. In the Bronx, I had to worry about gunshots, worrying about people robbing me or maybe robbing my child. Here, it's a little bit bad, but not as bad as the BX.
But I heard it's quiet out there. It's real quiet. They ain't doing too much out there.
I love all my boroughs, especially Bronx and Staten Island.
It's too quiet. I gotta have some ruckus a little bit.
And then you have Long Island.
I go to this mall at least once a month, Roosevelt Field in Long Island.
I used to consider Long Island like a stepchild of Queens.
When I first moved to Long Island from Brooklyn, a lot of my friends in the streets, friends in church, they used to say, hey man, you're a white boy now.
It's huge.
I didn't know anything about Long Island. I didn't know what was out here or who was out here or what was out here.
A lot of dope rappers came from out of there. Like a couple of my favorites also, like of course, you know, Rakim, Freddie Fox, aka Bumpy Knuckles, is from Strong Island. Rock Marciano's from Strong Island. Buster's from Brooklyn, but leaders of the new school are from Long Island. Like, you know, he really got his feet wet in hip hop in Long Island. De La Soul, am I missing him? MF Doom. I mean, he's from London, but KMD, Causing Mass Damage, is from Long Island.
I like Long Island, but it's not for me.
They just have, they have a different culture within itself also, because they're like the stepchild, the unofficial stepchild of New York City.
And it's more dedicated to, like, you know, houses.
I got family that lives like in Brooklyn and Queens, but like my immediate family lives in Baldwin.
A little too quiet still. I'm a city type of person.
I never ever thought I would be living in Long Island. Another place I didn't know existed as a child growing up.
Moving to Baldwin, it was just closer to be around the family.
I just knew that, you know, that it was ingrained in my head at a young age that we had to make it out.
I grew up in a community that was plagued by the crack epidemic. Hempstead, Long Island really suffered some trauma in the late 80s, mid 80s, going into the 90s, it was really bad.
And these, you know, these areas on the outskirts.
Once I hit my like teen years, I moved to Jersey.
New Haven is an urban city. It's I consider it a small city.
Jersey's a lot like slower with some of the stuff.
Well, I got a couple friends that live up in Yonkers. My homeboy J1. Actually, as Jadakiss' son, I actually met him when I was I did a little bit of time in Atlanta, you know, when I was doing the master's program for my graduate studies. So I would go out there, visit him a few, and it's nice out there.
If you go up you came off 91 off exit 8, that area where the intersection is, if you go up, instead of taking that left, that's where the hood is at. You come down here, yeah, you good, you chillin'. This is a good part.
If I couldn't live in Queens, I'd definitely move to Yonkers.
Out there, it's like a specific style that you have. That you can tell, like, oh, he's from Jersey.
They really heavy on bike life out there.
Bridgeport is not like New Haven because there's nothing going on in Bridgeport. Bridgeport is horrible.
Jersey and Philly, they kind of mix their slang up. So it's a lot of people nowadays, they use Joe. Yeah, out New York, they don't really say that. Out there, they say hook off, like you're gonna hook somebody. Out here, you say, you know, you're gonna snuff somebody. So it's language is a little different.
It's cold right now, but the minute spring kicks in, it gets warm. It's what they call killer season. Or, you know, people be back on their stuff, and it's usually negative stuff.